On this
Just kidding.
festive Friday afternoon, Carol Massar, are you wearing black on this festive Friday
I
afternoon?
am kind of sorry
Okay.
about that. I know. Look at you guys. Look at all the red and the light
You should see
pink.
his tie. Romaine has these little tiny Santa Claus on his tie, these bright red socks. It's the whole thing.
That's about as festive as Romaine has gotten this holiday season, huh?
This is the time to shine, Scarlet Fu. I mean, if you can't be festive this time of year, then when can you be?
I bet you go home and you have some Christmas sweaters you put on.
We've got the PJs, we got the socks, we got the hats,
The tracksuits.
we got the whole 9 yards in the Bostick household. So I'll save you a pair if you really want one.
We
So,
totally want
yeah,
one.
all right.
Different tone, right, today? I mean, broad-based buying, and we're still, though, on track for not a great week here.
Yeah, off our best levels of the day, but we're still seeing lots of green across the screen. Down, though, on most of the major averages that we follow, Scarlett, about 2% on the week.
How many people think that we're going to get through this Friday with an actual vote and avert a shutdown?
I'm not taking that bet.
Mike Johnson
It's
says we
crazy.
will.
I'd rather go to Vegas.
He also said that a couple of times before, too.
Mike Johnson
Yeah, this
said that?
week.
Okay.
Yeah, he
Good
did.
thing.
He said the government will not shut down.
This is Plan C, remember.
Yeah,
Okay, but remember, markets seem to don't care.
Yeah.
Markets tend not to care about these things.
Until they have to care.
Until they have to care. Of course, we are waiting still on a vote out of the House of Representatives. Last time we checked, based on Bloomberg reporting, they didn't even have enough support amongst the Republicans to get that through. Of course, we will bring you that breaking news as soon as it happens. But let's recap what we saw in the markets on the day. Green across the screen. A nice rebound coming off that big sell-off on Wednesday, but not necessarily enough to push stocks into the green for a week. On the daily basis, Dow Jones Industrial Average down 500 points or more than 1%. The S&P 500 higher by 64 points or more than 1%. The Nasdaq Composite up more than 200 points or 1%. And the Russell 2000 up about 21 points or about 1%.
All right, as we dig a little bit deeper, especially into the large caps, guys, most names in the index higher today. The S&P 500, 442, Scarlet, to the upside, and you had about 59 names losing some ground today.
All right, this is going to be a pretty simple IMAP. Let's go to it. It's all green right now. All 11 groups are higher for the day. The laggards here are the consumer names, consumer staples and discretionary up marginally, gaining 0.1%. But your best performers, real estate investment trusts up 1.8%, tech up 1.5%, along with utilities, which have become really tech adjacent.
All right, guys, let's get to some of the top gainers in the Friday trade. Carnival, number 4 gainer in the S&P 500, rallying, lifting its peers as well. Fourth quarter adjusted EPS, it was a beat. Company introduced some guidance for 2025, signaling that record levels of cruise demand will continue into the new year. We spoke with CEO Josh Weinstein. He was so upbeat about what he is seeing in terms of bookings and spending. So it was interesting to talk with him. But
I listened to your interview with him. I thought it was interesting when he talked about the new people coming into cruising.
Yeah.
I forgot what the phrase he used, but the idea that they're bringing in a lot of people who've never, ever been on a cruise before.
Yeah, I think he said 10% more new to cruise in 2024 than 2023. So expanding their market base in terms of people who want to cruise.
Yeah. Nice interview, by the way.
Thank you very much. Yeah. I appreciate that from you. Eli Lilly also higher today. At its highs up about 7%, finishing
Did
the
you
day.
laugh, Alix Steel?
I did, sorry.
At the close, up about 1%. You guys know the news. Competitor Novo Nordisk out with a new experimental weight loss drug. There was some disappointment, falling short of expectations in terms of the trials out there. So Eli Lilly, as a result, also, of course, big-time player in this space, gaining on that news. I just want to mention, I know it's a small cap, $680 million market cap biotech company. It's called Humacyte. It was up. It almost doubled in today's trade, up about 100%, 95% at its highs, finishing the day with a gain of 34%. What was interesting is that the FDA granted full approval of its bioengineered human tissue product for adults with arterial injury. I just think this is a cool space when it comes to medicine. And then just one more thing. I'm going for 4 today. The Buffett effect. News that Berkshire Hathaway upped its holdings in a couple of names. Occidental, VeriSign, and then SiriusXM, which that one was up about 12% in today's session.
Occidental? Why doesn't he just buy this thing at this point?
I know.
Oxy. Okay, it's Oxy now. They changed their name.
So why
I'm
won't
gonna
he
get
buy
an
it,
email.
Alex? Why won't he buy the whole thing?
Oxy.
Oxy.
I hear Oxy and I think something else.
Exactly.
Sorry.
What, OxyClean?
Yeah, no.
Oh.
Hey, I didn't make up the name. I'm just like, I'm going to get the emails.
I know. All right, Oxy.
Yeah, send them to Alex, please.
All right. I got the decliners today. I do want to start with Novo Nordisk. Shares fell the most intraday in Copenhagen after a failed attempt to leapfrog rival Eli Lilly in the market for obesity drugs. ADRs here in the U.S. fell by the most since 2002. By the close, down 18%. Novo's experimental obesity shot, CagriSema, helped patients lose an average of 20.4% of their weight over 68 weeks. That was short of the 25% weight loss that Nova had repeatedly predicted for its next-gen product. Once again, shares down more than 17% here. We'll go ahead and round that up to 18%. And remember yesterday's news about FedEx and shedding its freight business, also FedEx earnings. Trucking stocks fell in the wake of that. XPO Inc. shares fell by 7% today. This after FedEx cut its year guidance and said it's going to spin off its freight division. XPO certainly one of those companies. At one point in the trade, it was down the most in nearly 2 years. Bounced off their lows, though, to close at 7% to the downside. And finally, I did want to take a look at shares of Starbucks today. Ended up falling today by just close to 1%. This after the union representing Starbucks baristas went on strike this morning at a limited number of locations in 3 U.S. cities after a final stage bargaining session reached an impasse. In a statement, Starbucks said the union, quote, prematurely ended the bargaining session this week and it's ready to continue talks.
All right, well, in the bond market, we've seen some buying all across the curve pretty much throughout the day, whether you were looking at a steep decline in the equity market pre-PCE or as we opened up and the rally continued. The bulk of the buying, though, continued to be in the belly of the curve, really looking at that 7 and 5 year. On the whole, though, guys, the 210 spread had an unbelievable week. I mean, it's rising for 3 straight weeks, and we hit the highest level since 2022. It's been a very dramatic change, a sea change for the steepener trade.
All right, everybody. We are definitely thinking about the holidays next week. And here's a stat for you. This is coming from the New York Post. Americans are expected to spend about $10 billion or so on unwanted gifts this holiday season. This is according to a forecast conducted by a personal finance website. More than half of U.S. adults, apparently about 53% or 140 million people, will be left disappointed by at least one present they unwrap in December.
I don't know what to say to that. $10 billion?
It's a lot of money.
In aggregate, $10 billion.
It's a lot of money.
You know, $10 billion is $10 billion in sales for companies.
Yeah, but if you take it and then you go exchange it, like, does that actually increase because you actually wind up buying more or
That's
changing
true.
up? I mean, there's actually an opportunity there.
Or do you just leave it at home or re-gift it?
Or you re-gift it.
Or you re-gift and then it hurts you for the next year? I don't know.
This is why we do Secret Santa in my house.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We have a huge extended family too, so it just got to the point.
To avoid the criticism?
No, it's just make sure people get what they want. And also it got to the point where it's like, okay, too many people to buy gifts for. This is getting overwhelming. Yeah. Let's just all have one person we buy gifts for.
Do you guys re-gift? Anybody re-gift?
No.
Well, no one's going to say that out loud, Carol.
I know. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's true. No, we never, ever re-gift.
We never
If
re-gift.
you do re-gift, yeah, no, never mind.
My sister had like a re-gifting closet, I think.
Well, I think some people have re-gifting rooms.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh my
Well,
God.
now I have to keep this in mind anytime Carol gives me a gift now.
Yeah.
Give good gifts. You're
It's
enough.
like,
When she brings in those cookies, watch out.
I don't know. I mean,
They're not fresh.
Today she brought me a necklace. I was like, is this really for me?
I don't know about you guys, but we've been having every day in our show meeting, we have a question of the day, and it relates to what's your favorite holiday memory. And one of the questions this week is what's your favorite holiday movie? And everyone had answers that really ran the gamut. Alix, you pointed out there was an investor note that you saw where people voted in their most favorite movies.
Yeah. So this is from Jim Reed over at Deutsche Bank. They did a whole survey, and it was an investor survey, what you're thinking for 2025. And in that, they said, what's your favorite holiday movie? And then here are the top 5. Home Alone, Die Hard, Love Actually, It's a Wonderful Life, and Elf. And then it goes on to like Home Alone 2, The Holidays, Gremlins, for example.
No, you actually skipped the best one.
Which
I
one?
did?
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this list and I'm like, what?
I mean, the original one.
Yeah, I mean, that's a
Chevy
great one.
Chase.
Come on now.
Charlie Brown Christmas.
Yeah.
Is the Grinch
Charlie
on
Brown
here?
Crisis. What about Trading Places?
That's a
wasn't
great
on the
one too.
list.
Okay, that was a Christmas movie, right?
Yeah, that's a.
I mean, anything could be a Christmas. You know, we just watched a movie. My son picked this out the other day. It was called Carry On. It was about a TSA agent.
Oh, it's on Netflix, yeah.
To defuse a bomb, but it all happened. It's like kind of like Die Hard. It's not. It's a Christmas movie, but not. But anyway, I don't know.
Is it?
I can't
It
recommend
came out around Christmas, so it's a Christmas movie.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
Okay, I understood.
It takes place during Christmas too.
Then it makes sense.
Black Doves, that's a good one for this this Christmas season.
I'm just going to say Love Actually. I remember bringing it up. I'm like, oh, great movie. And I think it was, my daughter was 10 at the time. And then I realized there's a part in it. Like,
I did the same thing.
see? And she looked at me and she's like, Mom, I don't think I can watch this. And we stopped watching. Right?
What was the part? I
Did
don't
the
even
same
know what
thing.
you're talking about.
Google it, Tim.
Okay.
Google
Yeah,
it.
now I'm lost too. Like what?
I love, right at you, girl.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever actually
Feel
seen
that.
that movie all the way through.
I watched it and I
Yeah.
could not get into it.
It's
Yeah,
such
it's
a
a
great
little-
movie, but
Love Actually?
All right, we got to
The
wrap.
cue cards, I just didn't get it.
You guys are all going to be Googling.
Didn't get it.
You're
I
gonna
don't know
be
what to
Goog-
say to these people anymore.
I
Guys,
don't. I know.
happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Everybody be safe, and we'll see you soon. All right, that's a wrap. Our cross-platform. We call it the closing bell. We'll see you all real soon.